Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Brandon Buchanan with the American Bus Association. Thank you for participating in today's DoD Military Bus Program webinar and GOPAX demonstration presented by the Defense Travel Management Office's Donna Johnson. Please stay tuned for a moment as we allow others to join today's presentation. Please stand by. Hello again, and thank you for waiting. This is Brandon Buchanan again with the American Bus Association. Welcome to today's DoD Military Bus Program webinar and GOPAX demonstration presented by the Defense Travel Management Office's Donna Johnson. Due to the number of people participating on today's webinar, all participants will be initially placed into listen-only mode until the question and answer portion at the end of today's presentation, when we can open up your lines for questions. If you would like to make a comment, ask a burning question, or if you have a problem viewing or hearing the presentation at any time, please utilize either the chat or question function on your webinar control panel, which should be on the right-hand side of your screen, and I will convey your question to our presenters as soon as practical. During the Q&A segment, we ask that you click on the little hand icon located under the Attendance tab to indicate that you'd like to ask a question. I will announce your name, unmute your line, and you can begin speaking. We are also recording today's webinar, and it will be available to everyone who is registered, in addition to those who registered and were unable to join us today. We will also be posting it to the ABA website as well for your retrieval after the fact. Now let me introduce today's presenter, Donna Johnson. Donna Johnson is a veteran of the United States Air Force, where she retired with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. Currently, Ms. Johnson is a team lead and traffic management specialist for the Defense Travel Management Office, DTMO. The DTMO, a component of the Defense Human Resources activity, is aligned under the Deputy Undersecretary of Defense Military Personnel Policy. Ms. Johnson holds a Master of Military Operational Art and Science degree from Air Command and Staff College, Air University, and a Master's of Arts in Human Resources Management from Webster University. She's a graduate of Tuskegee University with a Bachelor of Science degree in Economics and a Distinguished Reserve Officer Training Corps graduate. Ms. Johnson, I am now going to turn the floor over to you. Please proceed with the presentation.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to give the DoD program overview briefing, and then I'm going to turn it over to Doc and Tony from US Transcom, who will give you the demo for GOPAX. Some of you all are familiar with my slides, and this is the same briefing I gave at GovTravels last week. So I'll go over it briefly for those who have not heard this portion of the briefing. But the bus program falls under the Defense Travel Management Office. The Defense Travel Management Office mission is we're the single point of contact for commercial passenger travel for the Department of Defense. We have several programs, as you can see from this slide, that fall under our preview. Our scope is over $9 billion for FY18 of travel. If you notice under the scope of enterprise that you don't see the bus program, in there. And the purpose of that is because we're not able right now to collect accurate data to give our total spend for bus. So that is one of the reasons why we're changing it and requesting data from the carriers going forward. So hopefully next year we'll be able to have in that scope of enterprise the bus information of the total spend for FY20.
Oh, that's good news.
As we looked at the bus program, we looked at the process in which we do our program management. We looked at our systems to see what we can improve and do different there. We've changed some of our policy, and we'll talk about all these areas as we go through the brief. We also looked at our data and performance management areas and implemented some new things that we're going to require there. And we've also updated and also had some agreements, MOUs with different organizations so that we could take a totality look at all of GOPAX and be able to bring a program up to date. I know it says we spent $2.26 million in FY18 on this slide, but we believe that we doubled that amount of spend, and this is just based on what we can pull out of GOPAX. So once everyone is in GOPAX, we'll be able to give a more accurate account for how much spend we have in the whole program. This has been a team effort. We've worked with FMCSA, TSA, CVSA, Commercial Vehicle Safety Allowance. We've got input from the military services, along with commercial carriers. We thank you all for all your input and helping us develop our systems, and our partners here with Transcom to look when we did the whole program overview. The whole purpose of the Department of Defense bus program is to ensure that we have safe vehicles that meet all of our DoD standards. We look at improving our transportation for our passengers. We do military movement solicitations for our recruit travel. Those are military members that are just joining the military. We call them recruits coming in. We provide that service. And we do all of this under agreement number 5. And that agreement was just released on February 20th. So agreement number 4 will terminate in next week, I believe. But that's the overview of the DoD bus program. Okay, agreement number 5. Some of the new requirements and changes of agreement number 5. We'll talk about the application, and we're going to discuss some of the forms that we have for agreement number 5, and then go over the GOPAX requirement, and then the new system that we've developed, or the tool, which is the carrier movement reporting tool. And as I said earlier, agreement number 4 will terminate on March 20th. So it's important that everyone apply for agreement number 5. One thing I do want to say is if you have any contracts or awards that were made under agreement number 4, that will continue on. So for instance, if you have a contract or award that is a year long, that agreement will still, that award will still continue under agreement 4 in which it was made under. Anything going forward would be made under agreement 5 once you've been approved, and you would need to follow those rules and instructions. Okay, some of the basic requirements for agreement number 5. We've worked with FMCSA, and they on the new entry safety program. You must meet those requirements. If you come into FMCSA or become a carrier since the year 2000, you've been grandfathered and you won't need the new entry safety program. But after that, everyone should have the new safety program when they register for a DOT number. You must have a satisfactory rating, and you must have an active and authorized for passenger operating authority. And you must have a SCAT code. That's a 3 or 4 letter digit code that's required by the government. And you must be registered in GOPAX, which is our new requirement, and we're going to talk more about that. If you have an agent that's representing you, your agent must be represented in GOPAX, and I'll go over that a little bit more in detail. We're also asking for a 24-hour point of contact. In case we need to change a mission or something happens, we need to be able to reach the carrier at all times. Also, the System for Award Management, SAM, you must be registered into SAM. That is a government requirement. And then you must review the CMR tool user guide so that you're familiar with how to submit data. And I'll go over that process in this briefing a little later. Okay, how to apply. Our webpage has been updated, and we're still making updates daily to the page. But if you look in the right-hand corner where that arrow is pointed under Quick Links and Resources, you'll see Application. You'll click on the application, and you will see what's on the right-hand side of your slide. That is the first page of the application. It'll give you all the requirements that I went over just a minute ago and the details on how to apply. We suggest that you read this before trying to apply to make sure you can answer all the questions correctly when you apply for the program. And their website is at the bottom of this page of the briefing. Here is the first page of the application. Once you're ready to apply, you will answer these 8 basic questions, and all of those questions are based on the requirements that we asked you to have before you try to apply for the program. And so you will see these questions, and you must answer yes to all these questions to go to part 2 of the application. Here is part 2 of the application. This is the application that's requiring you to put in your stat code, your DOT number, and your FMCSA graduation date. We are in the process of updating this based on the feedback that we've received from carriers. Some carriers, if you've been grandfathered in, you just need to put the date that your company signed up with FMCSA. And not your graduation date, because you won't have one. If you have a graduation date, then you'll be required to put in your graduation date there. For those who've already applied, we're able to get into the system, so don't worry about that part of it. This is also part 2, continuation of the application. These are still company information that we've asked you to provide in your 24-hour contact, and then your operational information and your safety information. For part 3 of the application, this is letting you know that you will receive an inventory, equipment inventory listing, and the DoD agreement signature page once you've submitted your application. Here is the inventory, equipment inventory sheet is on your left-hand side. We ask that you only put in your equipment that you plan on using in the DoD program, and that equipment must be no older than 20 years old. I know there were some concerns about having equipment older than 20-year-old available, but it's been the Department of Defense guidelines that once that we will not have equipment older than 20 years old. If there is, we may look at this later and do some exceptions based on information that comes in, but right now our guideline is your equipment must be less than 20 years old. And we ask that if you have any equipment older than 20 years old, do not list it on this form, or we will send it back to you. And the equipment that is listed on this form is the only equipment that you're able to use to transport any DoD travelers. The signature page, you must use the signature page that is emailed to you. We can't accept any scanned signature pages, or we will be sending that back to the carrier to fill out this signature page that is emailed to you. You will need Adobe to open the signature page, and that is a free, program that you can get on the website, but you will need to download that in order to open the signature page. We've had a couple of carriers having problems with the signature page, and please let us know. We'll assist you and walk you through how to do that. But again, we can't accept any scanned signature pages. And the reason why is that our director at the bottom is going to electronically sign these signature pages, so he will need them. We will need to email him so that he can electronically sign those, and we're not able to do that on a scanned document. Okay, so once you apply, you will hit apply now, and then that's when we will send you an email telling you the next steps, and the next steps will be to fill out the inventory equipment list and the signature page. But one of the things that we're asking that you have is make sure your company has a security plan on file, and that you're able to do the monthly data report that we will require from you.
The Air Force is willing to box it up and ship it to you.
Okay, yeah. The monthly data reports that we will require from you that we'll talk about once we get to the CMR portion of the briefing.
Have anybody out in the field, and it'd probably be very difficult for you to send people out to each location to get this. It's not really.
Okay. One of the new requirements is the mandatory use of GOPAX. The mandatory use of GOPAX is not just for the carriers, but it is also for our transportation officers. They have to have GOPAX. So what's going to happen now, all the transportation officers will put all of their requests for service into GOPAX, and then the carriers will be able to see those requests and bid. This gives us an opportunity, or you an opportunity, to see more requests, and it also gives the TO the opportunity to receive more bids for the requests that they put out there. If you decide to use an agent, your agent will have to have GOPAX access. You don't necessarily need it, but your agent will need to get that access in order to use GOPAX to bid for you. You will need external certification authority. Right now, there are 2 companies that provide that information. We're going to clarify, it might be 3, but right now there's 2 companies that provide that information. And once your certification information is turned in and all the paperwork that is required through that company, it will take, I'm being told now, 3 to 5 days for turnaround. One of the requirements is that you have your paperwork notarized. So take that into consideration when you're applying for your ECA certificate. And then once you do that, GOPAX then you'll get a portal where you'll be able to upload and have access into GOPAX once they've received approval notice from our office. GOPAX is currently going under a redesign, and I'll let those gentlemen talk about that a little bit more with the anticipation of being released later on this month. I added these slides in there because we've been getting a lot of phone calls and questions on what is an agent and what is meant by agent. An agent is an individual or company that is designated by the carrier and acting on behalf of the carrier regarding the DoD activities. Agents may not act as a broker, and the definition is right here on what a broker is considered to be. And we in DTMO, we prohibit any brokering. You have to either be an agent or represent yourself in the program. We in DoD are not requiring, and nor are we endorsing the use of agents. So you do not have to use an agent to be part of the DoD program for the agreement. That is solely up to you as a carrier whether you want to have an agent represent you or not. Just so you know that if you decide to use an agent, then you're saying that this agent is allowed to act on your behalf for the Department of DoD. However, you're going to still be responsible for any actions that that agent may do on your behalf. If you decide that you want to use an agent, there is a place on the signature page for you to put the agent's name in there that you're going to use. If you decide that you do not want to use the agent, then you must let us know 30 days in advance so that you can have another signature page sent to you and re-sign that you will not be represented by an agent. If you use an agent, your company does not have to have access to GOPAX. Your agent can represent you in GOPAX. But if you don't have an agent, then you will need to get GOPAX access and go and get your certification. Only one person is authorized to use access into GOPAX under that certificate. Under your certificate. So you cannot share certificates for the use of GOPAX, or you'll be removed from the program if this is found out. Some of the other things I talked about earlier, we did sign an MOU with FMCSA to give us access to their system, and that is how we're able to check all of the information that you're providing us to become a required carrier. We did have a glitch with the system, so we finally got that all straightened out last Friday. And if you submitted an application for approval, we hope to have those applications approved no later than Monday. But we did get a delay because we had a glitch trying to get all our access in the A system correct. But we've gotten that fixed now. We also signed the MOU with CDSA. And this allows us agreement with the state inspectors that will come at the point of origin to check your buses, to do the inspections for your buses. The purpose of this is not to delay the mission, so the state inspectors will not delay any missions when they're inspecting your buses. We've also enforce the use of the government charter coach certificate for our invoice form, and I'll show you that next, to make sure that all the invoices have the same and correct information on it. And we are in the process of updating what we call our defense travel regulation, transportation regulation, that is mandating the use for the transportation officers to use GOPAX. Here is a new form that we've implemented. We used to have the form which was called the DD Form 1341. That form was a dual-use form. One side of it was for air movement, and the other side was for bus movement. The air side is not being used anymore, so we've done away with that form, and now we're using the DTMO bus -01 form. And this form is to be filled out by the DoD group leaders when they're on your bus. It is pretty much the same thing that they've been doing in the past. The things that we're asking them to double check is nothing different that has been asked before, but they will be looking at each one of these areas to make sure the buses in compliance with the DoD requirements. And also, one thing has changed is that we've asked the group leader and the bus driver to sign the form so that the bus driver is aware of anything that is being annotated on the form if they have any complaints or disagreements with it. This is the GCCC form that I was speaking of earlier. This is the form that you're supposed to turn in for your invoice in order to get paid. This form has been used in the past for if anyone is familiar with submitting the GTR. Now we're just going to use this form for all of our invoices, and you must turn it in within 7 business days to the government so that you can get paid on time. That is one of the things that we are really trying to enforce, is on-time payment, and I know that would be a benefit for you all. The carrier data requirement in Agreement 5, this is our new data requirement that we're asking everyone to turn in by the 15th day of the previous month. So in April, you will turn in any government and only government movements that you have for the month of March. I'm going to go through this requirement. And we're asking everyone to do this for us monthly so that we can collect data correctly. The tool, I'll go over the tool and how to submit the reports that we're asking you. You can do it multiple movements on one form, or individual movements, or there is a no movement option. And as I stated before, you must submit for the previous month of movement that you had. So we'll go through these examples right now. Okay, in order to get into the CMR tool, once you've been approved as an approved carrier, you will get an approval letter with your signature page and instructions on how to go into the system to get access to the CMR tool. Once you do that, you will receive a password. Once you submitted your information, you will receive once you inputted your information, you will see instructions on how to submit for a password and be granted into the CMR tool. But that's only after you've been approved. And then this is once you get approved and go into the tool, into what we call our passport, you will see an icon that says CMR right here. And then that icon will bring up the bottom page right here. And you can import your file, or you can do an individual movement or no movement report. So for the importing of your file, you can select import the CVS file, and it will download a spreadsheet where you can upload that. And here is all the data elements for that spreadsheet. We have an example of the spreadsheet that we will send you along with procedures on how to do it. And then if you have more than one move, it's the example right here on how to do that. So your invoice will be 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have more than one on bus move on that, you put the -1 and the -2 and so forth. Once you filled out that spreadsheet, you will upload it by clicking the browser and then upload, and then it will be imported into the system. If something is not correct in that spreadsheet, it will identify that. And as you see right here on the left-hand side, it will say good. If there's an error, it will identify that it's an error, and you can click on where the error is and correct that information. And all of this is in the user guide to go step by step with you. All the information before it is submitted to DTMO must be in a good standing or it will not be able to be submitted. And then for the individual movement, say you only have 1 or 2 moves and you don't want to do a spreadsheet, you can go in and do an individual movement. You will click here for individual movement, and then on that individual movement spread will display, and you can input all the information you have here. If you have any questions or on what you should input in that box, you can stroll over the question mark and it will bring it up and explain how you should input or what is exactly required for that box. Once you've filled in all the required information, then you will hit next and then submit it into the system. If you don't have any moves for that month, and we know everyone will have some moves because there'll be plenty of bids out there, requests for you to bid on. But if you don't have a move, we're asking that you submit a no movement report. And that's just putting in your DOT number, the name of your company, and then the date, and then submit. And so if you don't have a move, we just ask that you submit this anyway, so we'll know. Okay, that brings us to the end of going over the bus program. Here is our point of contact information. We have our website, any information you want to know about the bus program, our group email box. So if you have any questions, please email us, or you can give us a call at our office number, or if it's past duty hours, please call the TAC. And they will reach out to one of us and we'll get an answer for you if they can't answer your questions. Next, we'll go into the GOPAX demonstration. I'll hand it over to Tony. Doc to start.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. My name is David Comfort. I go by Doc. Thanks for taking your time out of your busy schedule to take this briefing. Less than a year ago, our team was tasked with redeveloping GOPAX to modernize it and address security concerns. And it was a very short amount of time for us to completely rewrite the program and get it up in the government cloud. But they have done that. We're up in the government cloud, and we're doing testing now. The new GOPAX, it's version 9. It is much simpler than the old one. 99% of the people don't need any training to use it. It is that simple. But there are training videos available. Once you log in, you'll see new training version 9. And you can click on that and watch the videos. Excuse me. The videos are only about 3 to 4 minutes long, so it's not very painful. So I'm going to pass it over to Tony Kern, and he's going to go over, give you a live demonstration of what the system looks like.
All right, I'm Tony Kern. I'm the project lead for GOPAX. Like Doc said, in less than a year, we basically redesigned everything from the ground up. One of the things, you will not go through ETA anymore. So once we go live, you're going to go to a NGA product called GOAccess. We'll be giving you out information on how to start setting up accounts later this week, first thing next week. And your initial login is very simple in the GOAccess. It's 6 steps. It'll be part of the email. You don't have to buy any new certs. We're going to use your existing certs. So what you're going to do, I can tell you the new website you're going to go to, but it's not out there. You have to hit for production. It's simply put HTTPS GOPAX.transport.mil. It's just GOPAX.transport.mil. Very simple. Everybody hits that, both government and commercial users will hit the same website. There's no separation anymore between the two. So when we built GOPAX, we took a lot of your inputs, how it was slow, hard to get in, timed out quick, entries were hard to follow. and we consolidated. I'm not going to show you much on the government side, but used to have about 3.5 pages of stuff they had to do to put in a request. Long and drawn out. Okay. Find somebody activated real quick. So this is what our government people see for the new GOPAX. It's very simple. This is what we call their active request, so they can actually track every request they have in the system. But what I wanted to show you mainly was that when they create a bus request in the new system, they have a lot less information to put in. You used to have 3 different point of contacts in the old GOPAX. You had the 24-hour point of contact, the unit point of contact, the length. We made it to 1 point of contact. So that's the first thing you'll have their full name, their email address, commercial phone, and their DSN. One thing we will have added to the winning bus company will also have access to their cell phone point of contact down here. That is not displayed, it only is displayed to the winning bus company, so they have a 24-hour point of contact outside the command. Then we get down to the simply put. We have fund site, the unit name, personnel code, and tags. And now we implemented tags on both the government side and the commercial. So for the government, their tags are a little different than yours. Let's go over them real quick. A lot of the new applications use meta tagging, so you can track and find stuff quicker. That's what we implemented here, meta tagging. And then when we get down to leg information is very straightforward. Origin, street address, city, state, and our times. You got your PAX numbers here in the middle, origin and destination. Also on times, you sat here multiple different times. Sometimes it got confusing. We broke it down to there's only one required time. The only required time is when does that unit have to be where their destination. They can also add in the departure time to give you a little more window of opportunity, but we just want to make it simple. What time do I have to be there? And then the baggage and cargo are simply the same. And that's pretty much the information we put on the request now, very simply. So therefore, once they put that request in, let's jump over here to an actual commercial user. This is what you're going to see as you come in. You're on your open for bid. You got 2 different tabs, as we call them, or sections. Open for bid and your bid request. In this case, bid request. So the open for bid are the ones currently out there waiting to be bid upon. So let's see if we can find a bus move in here. All right. Fortunately, there doesn't appear to be any bus moves in the system right now. Nope. Bus moves are almost the same, but we're going to jump over here and look real quick. Actually, I know what I can show you something real quick. Let me back up. I'm going over here. I'm going to jump over here just so I can show you what the form looks like. All right. So if we go in here, I'm jumping in a weird way to get to the request. And this one's not modified. All right. Hold with me. I'm going to have to put a request in real quick. I'll just show you how quick we can put one in. See how fast I am. Jump down here. Create a request.
So like Tony's doing that, what he was talking about with the meta tagging, for example, if installations are supporting something such as border security, they can type in border security on the tag, and next year if they have a similar mission they have to take care of, they can type in the search button border security, and they can pull up everything relevant to what they did the previous time. Meta tagging is the same thing you use if you're familiar with libraries on Intel Share. They're just keywords, and you can also do them on your request. That'll help you find your request. It's just a simple tool to do a search. You don't have to use the tagging, but it helps if you want to find it. You can do Fort Drum, New York, FY19. You can pull up all the movements you did for them during FY19. And also in the top, there is a search button, and you can search based on any words that are in the movement request to help you find the movement. And also a new feature we have. A lot of times the government, they like to change pass count, they like to change things. So now if you have made a bid on a request, and the government goes in and changes the passenger count, changes the date, changes anything, you will be notified, and you will have to validate that change before the government can move forward. And then if they go from 50 passengers to 100 passengers, and you can also adjust your bid to reflect the additional passengers that will be traveling. And you will also get an email notification if something has changed, so you don't have to stay glued on the GOPAX user interface. It's not highlighted, you got to go down.
Right, I'm trying to figure out why it's not highlighted.
Carbon maybe.
No, not required.
Not required for both. Font shouldn't be required for both.
It does have front side in there.
Yeah, but you don't need it for both.
Right.
And try it in cargo, see what happens.
Okay.
Less than 100. Less than.
Oh, I would have backward. It's been a while since I put it in there. I mean, what's going on here?
Just take it to generic.
Well, I wasn't showing the bus request, and that, you know.
And I have to run.
I don't know.
I'll talk to you. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna.
There we go.
There you go.
All right. This one. So, clear a little longer. Sorry about that, but. All right. So now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to publish it. And at this point, it says publish for now. It's out for bid for the carriers, so I'm going to go back to that carrier ad. And so this is what you, as a bus company, you're going to see. You're going to click on it. So it's going to show you what you have. It's going to show you the requester, Stacy Amos, submitted date, her phone number, email address, and what's nice is it shows you last modified date, so you can tell if it's been modified since it's been submitted. Gives you unit name, point of contact information. And then down here it gives you a little bit of information about the move. You know, it's Belleville to Chicago. As you look over here, and it says it really, sorry about the resolution on the screen. When you're on your regular computer, the resolution is going to be a lot better, so you'll see Belleville to Chicago. So if you like that, you're going to click bid. And this is a new information you got to fill out as a bus carrier. You're going to put your unique offer ID. This is just a field that if you want to track it internally, maybe you have your own internal numbering system. Expiration date for when your offer would expire, if you actually need to put one on there. Your carry packs, so it says carry packs, and then this is a request, the one right next to it, right and left. If you can't carry everything, you'll adjust it right here. This number right here, if you can't carry all of them and you have to drop it down, you drop it down right there. For point of contact information, it actually fills it out for you. Gives out your information straight from the actual, your profile in the system. And Doc's talking about tags. So every bus company has their own set of tags. So on this side, we made tags. So specifically, we thought of the bus companies and air carriers, because you might want some proprietary information. You want to put in there maybe, I don't know, who's working it, how much your fuel cost is that you base the bid on, you know, anything. Yeah, you put in there how much the runway, whatever the fees cost, you know, you could, and these will stay only visible to you and anybody at your company. We happen to get what we call an agent, which an agent will then have all the people they represent. So if an agent gets a new company, I'm not sure exactly what the new process is, they would contact DTMO, tell them they're representing a new bus company, and then they would add them in the system. So an agent can only bid on the people he represents, so he can't go and bid on somebody else. So they'll fill in the carrier. Another thing we added in the new system, since buses, you travel from one address to the other, 99.99 times out of 100, you're not going to change the address. So we auto-populate it for you. And then we also auto-populate the date, departure date, and arrival date. Those are adjustable, though. For right now, we tell you the rough times. That's a requested time, sorry. And then you're going to put in the run time in hours, live miles, and then your dead end miles. When we get down here, buses, same thing as the old system. You're going to put in the number of buses, the type of bus, and the cost. So we're going to use 2 buses at 55 passenger buses at $2,500. I don't know. But the nice thing is you can also add more. So if you have a big move and you need to have different size buses, you just keep adding them. I think we allow you to put in 20 different sizes of buses. A lot. Then we have baggage and cargo. Saying we're going to tell you how much they want. You can adjust. Baggage and cargo, 20 rows each one. And then the last is your comments. Comments are only visible to you and the government. And send it. And now you put in a move. So when you're looking at this request, it's going to show you all your moves you put in on it. If there's 4 legs and you put an offer on each leg will be divided. So like Belleville to Chicago, maybe the next one's Chicago to Detroit, so on and so forth. And that's how you put a move in.
And that was for round trip.
Or an offer. No, this is just one way.
Because it went total to 5 offers.
So another thing here, if you ever have to withdraw your offer, put a trash can there, withdraw. You want to make a copy. You can make a copy. So it keeps up pull up the entire same request. We got to put in a new offer number, unique offer ID, and you can hit it. Put in that. Just some random numbers, and hit send. Now I just made another offer. This is particularly useful mainly for air carriers, because for an air carrier, every plane they use has to be on its own offer. That's mainly why copy's there. And right here, last one is view your offer details. So here's your quick view of your offer details. You can print right from here. And then if you have to modify, you just click the modify button, make your changes, and send it. So that's how you put the offer in. So the next thing you got to do as a carrier is after they I should have done that, but after they analyze it and then figure out who wins, they're going to award you the contract. So now you come over here and we got this nice button right here, up here, action required. So for carriers, we made a drop down that shows you the request that you have something to do. And there's only a few things you have to do. You put an offer in and the request changed, we will notify you that it needs to be validated. So we'll have to be up there as a pending validation. After it's awarded, then you have to accept. So we have a search, also right here we have a search feature. So I can go in there and just type in accept, and it will show me all the moves that are pending acceptance. Simply click on the move, give it a second. You might have to depend on the size of your screen, that bar will either go away or stay there. If it stays there, you just click somewhere in that gray area and it'll go away and open up the screen. So now I have to accept the offers. So you put in your MOR number, which is an arbitrary 4-digit number, and you're going to accept. And you got to do this for each individual offer and accept. Let's say you have a problem. You're allowed to withdraw your offer. If you have a problem with, you lost a resource, you can simply withdraw your offer at this point too. But once we accept, then it goes into what we call the next state is ready to move. So now when the system goes live, this is when you're going to get a point of contact email that's going to say, here's the unit's information, just like in the old GOPAX. Now the last thing a carrier needs to do, and this is becoming important because of money's always tight, we're asking you to tell us exactly, as a bus company, how many people did you carry? And you should know that by your manifest. So, some of these, they say they're going to carry 300 people. They might only come with 250. Or maybe they don't even have that many. Or maybe they come with more. We're just curious how many there was on the trip. So simply put in, let's say 28, and close out the move. It's going to ask you, do you want to close the move out? Just say, close out the move. So now the move is done. What that does at this point, it allows you to get what we call the public reference report. We've included 2 reports currently in the new GOPAX that I know a lot of carriers think are important. You have the public reference, which tells you all the awarded moves that happened in GOPAX. So let's look at March of 2019. Generate the report. Wait. All right. So now we have all the moves that happen in GOPAX, both air and bus, that have been awarded, accepted, and moved. So let's see if we can find it. Bus only or regenerate. Fortunately, you got to regenerate. So now these are the bus moves that happen in GOPAX. It tells you MRN, request date, origin, destination, times, who actually got the move. Sorry, the resolution is kind of overlapping right there. Who the carrier was. This one is the second. The first one is especially on a broker. So this will give you the broker, but the carrier is the one who actually did the move.
By stat code.
By stat code. So then you get number of packs, the mode, number of buses, the route, which is either air or surface or air, and then the cost. So the requirement we have to put out there is after every move happens in GOPAX, we have to put out there who won it and how much it moved for. And that's done every month. We break it at the end of the month, the report's ready to go. And then the other one, which the action officers, TCAQ and DTMO are more liking this because they can see actually how many, it's kind of keep track of the units to make sure they're actually fulfilling or giving the carriers like good information on how many move it. Because one of the big problems is with the units, they say either not enough or too many, and now we got the wrong resource. So instead of using 5 buses, we scheduled 8, on the cost. So it's strictly a cost monitoring program. So you're going to get the same type of report, the request, the unit name. Now some people think this is quite nice, because if I got the unit name, then I heard one carrier grades the unit, how close they do, how many moves they do, whether they cancel them, how close they are to giving good information. But then it also tells you, I requested 24 packs or whatever that number is, small, 29, and I moved 29. Well, what if I requested 200, I moved only 100? Tells you that. And then how much, for an air move, it also tell you how close they were with baggage. Because for air moves, I know baggage is pretty important. I'm not sure how it is on a bus move. And then the last is cost. So in a quick breakdown, that's what you're going to see on the new GOPAX.
Can you talk about the alert system?
So let's see if we can get one out there. So, okay, let's go back.
And Don, real quick, can you move closer to the speakerphone?
Yeah. So one thing we're doing out here, we haven't implemented yet. We know that as more moves get into GOPAX, more carriers out there, the one thing the old GOPAX doesn't do is it's everywhere. When we put the moves out there, every carrier sees every move in the country. So one of our plans is that down the road, we could make it to where you could, on your own, say, I only want to look at the moves in the southeast area. So we're planning on possibly implementing the filter. And it could be down the road, if you like, and let's say I'm only in the southeast and I don't want to look at GOPAX every day. So notify me when a move comes in there in the southeast region. It's not there yet, but it's on our table of things to do. But then we also have in there, one thing I want to show you is a lot of carriers had problems when changes were made to a request or a request got canceled or leg in the request got canceled, so there was no heads up in the old system. And if I made 2 changes to a request in the old system, I couldn't tell the difference between the first request and the second. So there was a lot of things we changed on. There she is. So let's go back to this request. Now, where's that request? It's out there. Okay, here it is. So now Stacy goes in there and goes, well, the unit just told me they need more. So I got to modify the request. Now she's going to modify it, and they just told now I need 150 packs. So she submits a request. Now it immediately goes out. Now look, this is what you're going to see as a carrier, and it's going to be on your screen. So we can jump back here to our carrier, and we look up here, and let's go here to bus only, find it. All right. Come on.
Wow.
Person made a lot of requests. Where is it? I've lost that request.
Search.
Okay, so let's do. There we go. So now if I look at this request, it needs my validation. So I click on it. I come over here, and it asks me, do you want to, this request has changed, and I now look, and my offer has 100, and it's 150. So then I go in there, and it's 2 things. I can say it's still good, or modify it. So if I just happen to say it's still good, then it's going to immediately click off. And I'm going to tell everybody I validated it. If I modify it, just go through the simple thing, and go modify it, and you got to add a 3rd bus. Send it. Either way, it acknowledges to the action officer that I have made changes and now my offers are still good.
So it still shows 100 packs.
Interesting. Oh, I know why. Modify. I have to go up here. That's why it still shows 100. So in this case, I changed my bus, but now it doesn't audit because your request originally had 100 packs for your offer. Now you have to look and go, okay, I'm going to be able to carry that 150. Sorry about that, and I send it in. So now I got the 150. Donna caught that one. So, and by the way, you will get email notifications for when a request change. And the nice thing is, there are links on there. In the old system, we couldn't put any hyperlinks on it. Or I don't think they call them hyperlinks, but a link in the email. Now we have links in the email. So you click on that and it'll take you right in the GOPAX to that request.
And once the bid has been awarded, you'll get an email too, right?
Right. So if you win an award, you'll get an email. If it's ready to close out, you'll get an email. So the goal was to try to keep the number of emails out there, but try to actually, I think we did decrease a few and maybe added a couple because we don't want you to be snowblind. Because that's one thing we want to prevent is certainly you get too many emails, you just start dumping them in your trash bin. Also, the nice thing is a lot of ones were freeing up resources. The big one was if I cancel a leg or cancel a request. Now, if you got an offer on a request that is canceled or a leg is canceled, we will notify you that that request is canceled. So you can actually acknowledge that and know to free up that resource for something else. Anything else? I guess anybody got any questions?
Yes, there's a lot of questions that have been coming in. I will read a couple and then start unmuting people's lines. Going back to kind of near the beginning, where does a carrier find the active status?
Where does the carrier find the active status?
Right.
That's in the FMCSA system. So the carrier, I don't know what, they have access to that ACE system to find out if they're active or inactive.
Okay, got it. Now I understand the question. Yeah, so in the FMCSA Safer database, which you can, I will put the link in the chat. You can check your own carrier status. Hold on one quick second. All right. Let's go to the next question that came in. There was probably about 6 or 7 questions that have come in related to the ECA certification. So can you go back to that and go through that really, really slowly? Exactly which certificate is needed and kind of what are the differences between the different options?
So the ECA certificate, you can go back to that, to my briefing. The ECA certificate is ran by that company. So you will have to discuss with that company what's the best option for you. And they have different requirements for the ECA certificate at different costs. You're able to get a 1-year or 3-year, I believe, certificate for ECA, but you need to discuss what options you want with the company that you choose to go with.
Okay. And then Donna, going back to the on-site inspection by the TO, is the driver given a copy of that form after he signs it, or is he able to take a picture of it and send it back to their home office?
He is able to take a picture of it. Right now, we're trying to automate it, but he can take a picture of it and send it back to his home office, or they can always, we get a copy of it at the DTMO office, and we can always forward it once we get it, if the carrier wants a copy of it.
Okay, how is a carrier notified that a bid has been accepted?
You will get an email. So we will email you with email saying you have won this offer on this request. Please put in your acceptance acknowledgement number. We call it an MRO number.
Then is there also an email or notification for bids that are not accepted?
I believe I'd have to double check, but I don't think we do it for not accepted, because that would be, depending on what carrier it is, that might be a lot of emails. Like for sale, that would be a lot of emails that say you didn't win this one.
And then along the same lines, will the offer of service be automatically removed from the list after the expiration date or time has passed?
So you talk about for a request, will they go away?
Yes.
So on your the BAID request goes away as soon as that move happens. So once it becomes complete, as we call it, which means it's ran through the entire system, the move happened, and it's closed out, then it will disappear off your BAID request screen.
Does that include offers that do not receive bids?
Yes. And offers that after deadline will leave the out for bid screen.
And then can the GOPAX data library for cities and states be added to the CMR pages as drop-downs rather than having to be typed in?
What is it, TMR?
CMR.
Oh, CMR.
Oh, I'm sorry. For the CMR, what did you say again?
So can the data library for cities and states be added as drop-down?
For city and states be added. We can go back and look at that.
Well, I can tell you the city, states, and GOPAX is roughly 1 million lines. So, I mean, it's a big drop. As a drop-down, it's going to be extremely hard. As an autocomplete, I don't know. I don't run.
Well, I don't know for city, but for state, we may be able to do a drop-down for state, but not for city.
Well, it all depends. Who's developing the CMR report?
We are.
The implementation?
Yeah.
I know some places they do state, and they'll fill the cities as drop-downs too.
Okay, I'm going to now go to some folks with their hands raised. For those of you who are raising your hands, if you are talking through your telephone, please do make sure that you have the audio tab and your audio pin entered and that you have telephone selected in that audio tab. For those of you who are listening through headsets or talking through your computer, make sure you have computer audio selected. I'm now going to unmute the line for Cameron Worsham. Cameron, your line is open.
Now, when we contacted the companies that she's talking about, they didn't know what GOPAX was or what certificate we needed. How is it that you don't know what certificate to tell us to purchase?
Well, I know for those certs, those certs are more than, the companies do more than just GOPAX. I don't know how much they do. We can probably find out what certs they are. We can look into that.
What company were you contacting?
I've contacted Identitrust and the other company. They didn't know what level of security we needed for this program. I even showed them what was sent to us about contacting these companies. And then even Identitrust, when you go in and use the certificate, it has a bunch of different programs listed underneath that, and your program isn't listed in there. So I just want to know which certification do we need to purchase so we don't purchase the wrong one. That's a simple question. I just would like an answer to it.
All right. We'll have to look that one up. Just make sure we have your contact information, please.
Okay.
You know the contact information, right, Brandon?
Yeah, and you guys have received at least the ones from this morning. There's been a few more since, but yeah. So this is just make a quick note, Cameron Worsham, and you will be on that spreadsheet that I sent to you guys.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to our next question. Hold on 1 second. Shannon Sigmund, your line is open. Shannon from Christian Tours, did you have a question?
Yes, I was just curious to know if we would be able to get a printout of the instructions so that we can have kind of like a hands-on model to go through when we're starting this.
When you're doing
instructions
what?
for how to use GOPAX or instructions for the overall program?
Overall program. I mean, it looks fairly easy, but if I forget something in the meantime, it'd be good to have a reference guide to go back to and see what steps needed to be taken.
I don't know. For the CMR tool, the user guide has step-by-step instructions on what to do. For GOPAX, I'll let Tony.
We're still working on how to get it out there right now. The hard part was, the easy part for our last one was it was distributed. So we were behind distributed ETA where we could hang this information out there that's reachable by you guys, you carriers. Right now we still haven't figured out where we're posting that yet. We can, on a one-off basis, we can send out simple instructions. Because for the most part, it is a really, the hardest part, honestly, to me, is getting the cert. Once you get the cert, after that, it's relatively simple to get a GOPAX account. Once you have the SCAT code, we're gonna.
I think he's talking about instructions on how to use GOPAX, not the instructions on how to get in the system.
Well, are you a current user of GOPAX?
Yes. Well, I've signed up. Haven't really used it in the past.
So, if you want the training videos Doc was talking about, so if you're still active in GOPAX or you want to get reactive in GOPAX,
right.
We can get you back in the ETA, and ETA is the easy part, it's GOPAX. But once you get into, you go log into ETA, you jump over to GOPAX, and then you'll go into the GOPAX site, 3 steps. Then you'll see new training material for GOPAX 9. And there's 2 videos in there. And they're easy to watch.
All right, that'll be helpful. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And Tony and Doc, could you paste the URL for the training videos into the chat?
Well, for people who have GOPAX and training, that you got to. So the only way you can reach the videos right now is to be a current GOPAX commercial user.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I'm saying if you're a current user of GOPAX, then you can get access to them because they're in that distribute.mil, that second place you go to when you log in after you get into ETA, and it jumps you over. That's where the training videos are currently posted. They're so big we can't email them out. They're 40 megs and 50 megs. The system just doesn't.
So what we'll do on our webpage is we'll put links on there to instruct you on how to get to the training videos on GOPAX for current GOPAX users.
Okay, great. Thanks.
I don't know. Is there any way we can post those on your site?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Maybe if we could post those videos on our site and make it easier for you guys. So we'll look into that.
Thank you.
Do you have any advice for how and where carriers can get the SCAC code?
Oh, your SCAT code? You when you get a Duns and Brad, you go to Duns and Bradstreet, right?
So we listed the email address in the company. So you'll have to go to that company and request the SCAT code. And I think let me pull it up real quick. It's called the
National Motor Freight Traffic Association.
Yes.
And we have I will post their website address to the chat. I know I did it for one person who asked.
Okay, and that is on our website under the application and in the agreement.
All right. Next question. When do you expect that the new revised GOPAX to become available?
Well, we're hoping in the next 30 days. I mean, we are running up against a deadline where the ETA is going away, but so we're optimistic that within, I want to say 30 days. It's the best I can give you. Sorry.
And then Once buses are submitted as part of their inventory list, how often or what's the process to update their inventory?
So if you have any changes on your equipment inventory, you can submit it to us at any time. And I'll check on if there's a yearly requirement. I think it is, but I'll have to check.
And by submit that, do you mean essentially re-upload that list?
Yes, you can email it to us on our group email box that you received your email in that when you applied.
Perfect, thank you. Do you have a sense of when the ECA certification requirement might go away?
I don't think that's ever going to go away.
As long as you're hitting the government website, you're going to have some kind of certificate.
Okay, let me go back to our lines here. Vicky Schaefer, I'm currently showing you as being on computer mic. Hopefully you can get through to us, but your line is unmuted. I will ask her a question. Her question is related to the inspections. Will there be an inspection for every single move done by the CVSA personnel, or will it be kind of on sort of piecemeal or ad hoc basis at DoD's direction?
So it will be on an ad hoc basis. We will send CVSA inspectors a monthly report on all the awarded moves, and when the inspectors have time, they will drop by the installation or the point of origin to inspect the bus. So it's a no-notice inspection, but it's when the inspectors have time.
Next question comes in. Will the transportation requests that have been received directly from the bases still use that process of direct communication, or will they now be directed to go through GOPAX?
So the TOs are supposed to go to GOPAX to load all of their requests. However, if they do have a request, they can still pick up the phone and call that carrier to let them know that there's been a request put into GOPAX for a move. But all moves are supposed to be made in the GOPAX system.
And so, because I'm still getting a lot more questions about the whole ECA certificate, so to re-summarize your answer previously, will you guys be posting essentially a guide on what the carrier should be getting, which one they should be getting?
I don't know what's required for ECA.
Yeah, I don't either offhand. I'm going to have to look into it. Doc might know.
Yeah, we'll have to go. U.S. Transcom is going to look into the requirement for the ECA certificate, and then we'll put something out on our website for everyone. The ECA certificate procedures are ran by each company, but we'll see what the government guideline is as far as what their accessibility needs to be.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we haven't dealt with the certificate. We had other people dealing with it, so this is kind of new to us. So we'll reach out and see what we can find.
All right. Sorry, just sorting through the questions that have come in. If you do have a question or if you'd like to be unmuted, please raise your hand. And then we can unmute your lines. Again, you do have to enter in the audio pin in order for me to unmute your lines. And then also make sure that you have selected either computer audio or telephone audio, and then we can go from there. Mark Pounders, your line is open. Mark, if you're on your telephone, make sure you have selected telephone audio on the audio tab. I know, Donna, we've talked about this privately a couple of times, but is there a recommended security plan or template that the carrier should be using?
We have a recommended plan that TSA has put out there so I will reach out to TSA and see if we can get that plan and put it on our website or link it out to carriers. But they have a recommended plan through TSA.
Yeah, and that's definitely available right now on the TSA website. I will post the link in the chat for everyone. For those of you who are going for security grants, you should also be very familiar with this. And they are supposed to be updated at least every 3 years. And so click on the link that I am posting right now, and make sure you click on Highway and Motor Carrier Security, and you should be able to access or request the plan. All right, next question. Teresa Hanneman, your line is open. Teresa, you got to make sure that you are on computer audio if you're using your computer, or telephone audio, and make sure you've entered the audio pin. Brandon Knapp and Ron Ivester, I really need you guys to enter in the audio pin so I can unmute your lines. I see that you have your hands raised. Okay, let's come back to Mark Pounders. All right, so the next question, when searching for GOPAX trips, will carriers have to sort through the requests and find requests that are within their service area, or will it be kind of limited for each carrier based on where they, what they register for?
So currently, they're gonna have to search. And unfortunately, right now with the carriers, there's not a great way to search. The easiest way to search in the current system is go through on your browser and hit a Control F, and just do a keyword search in the browser screen. Down the road, we are going to have some better sorting and what we're going to call a user preference settings, but that's just didn't have time to implement that right now.
What are the overall steps of what should be done? Should it first be apply for the ECA certificate, then apply for a GOPAX, and then lastly to do the passport? What's the right order of things?
So the first thing you do need is a cert. Now, did you want to talk to them before they bought their cert, or did you want cert?
So yeah, the first thing you need to do is apply for your ECA certification. That, because it takes, anywhere from 5 to 7 days. So apply for that certification. Once you get that certification, it'll give you instructions on how to download that portal, and that will give you access into GOPAX. So you need the ECA before you can get access into GOPAX. As far as the passport is for your CMR tool, and you won't be able to get access into the CMR tool until you become an approved carrier. We will send you an email saying that you've been approved and give you instructions on how to go into Passport and request a password so that you can get access to that system.
Perfect. Mark Pounders, your line is open.
Thanks. I had a question here about, you talked about training videos, and so my question was, is the ECA certificate required to see the training videos? Because when I go on the ETA site, it looks like I've got to actually log in using the certificate. Prior to that, I don't see anything about training videos.
So unfortunately, the answer is yes. In the current system, the videos are behind the certificate, the login. You actually have to go. We don't own STDC, so we can't hang anything on their website. So right now, the only place we can hang it is on our website, which is inside of ETA.
Gotcha. And as a follow-up, I know Cameron Worsham was on earlier, and you had asked for his information so you could let him know what certificate he needed. It may be a good idea to notify everybody who's on this call, because I'm going to need that information as well. It just sounded like you were going to notify him which one he needed, but I don't know either. I counted the same thing when I got on it. It was just a list of certificates.
Yeah, I think I looked at it one time. Yeah, there is multiple ones. I think I'll try to reach out to ETA and see if SCDC can tell me which is a required certificate. And then hopefully I get a good answer from them.
Yeah, and then I guess come up with a way to let all of us know what that is. That'd be great.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll put it on our website,
Okay.
some kind of way to let you know.
Or maybe just educate both of those companies that when someone calls in for GOPAX, this is what they need. That may be an easier way to do it, I guess, because like I said, they have no clue.
Right.
Right. I think what's throwing them off is when you say GOPAX, because they're used to hearing it as SDDC or ETA system.
Okay.
So it's going to be switching over from the ETA system and SDDC. So Transcom is going to reach out to the companies, and they have to let them know what the new system will be so that they're aware of that. So we took that as a note to make sure we do that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Brandon Knapp, your line is open.
Hi, this is Brandon.
Go ahead.
I just want to confirm, so that we apply for the ECA cert, then we go to GOPAX, then we do the DoD app agreement number 5, or can we start the application agreement number 5 while we're in the process of waiting for that ECA certificate?
Yes, you can start the agreement number 5 while you wait for your certificate, but you won't get approved for the agreement until you have access into GOPAX. But you can definitely go on and get started.
Okay, thank you. And one last question. How do we know what our graduation date was with the FMCSA? I mean, we've been in business 25 years. I wouldn't even know where to go look for that.
Yeah, if you've been in business 25 years, you're probably grandfathered in. But if you've been in business less than 20 years, on their website, they have a date that you were entered into the program, and they've sent you a letter stating that you have passed the new entry program. So if
what date
you
do we
came
need to...
in past 25 years, then just put the date that your company came into service.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Back to the questions. So the government charter code certificate for payment, who provides the downloaded copy of that? Can it be submitted to the same channels for payment with the TO as the impact cards, which are currently in use?
I think the answer to your question is yes. The invoice form should be provided to the TO who awarded the bid. And if you use, and then if you're going through a contract office, then you would submit their requirements to pay them the same way. I guess I answered that correctly.
All right. Still a lot of questions about the ECA thing. I think we've hopefully covered that, and that you guys will get back to us and post sort of a guidance on the DTMO webpage for the military bus program. And for everyone who's wondering where the link is is already there for how to start the ECA process. In fact, I will paste in the GOPAX instructions, which has the links within it. Okay, next question. So yeah, I mean, I think we talked about this in person, but the whole, and maybe Peter Chandler, if you are still here, I'm going to unmute your line. Pete, are you there? But there's a number of questions about the new entrant program graduation certificate, and was wondering if you could comment on that.
I guess the question, if your company is less than 20 years old, you should have a graduation date. That graduation date can be found in the SAFER system. If your company is over 20 years old, you will be grandfathered and you won't have a graduation date, and you could just put the date that your company came into service.
You know, I think that's why there's confusion, because I mean, I look at SAFER almost every day. I have never seen this ever. For the graduation date. It's like, it's either whenever they got their operating authority. If that's the date you're talking about, then that works.
No, that's not the same date.
If it's within the first 3 years, there might be a non-rated inspection, and that's something in the record. So I was hoping that we could unmute Peter Chandler from FMCSA, who's on the call right now, to expand upon that.
Oh, okay.
It looks like he's got the computer tab. So Peter, if you could switch to the telephone tab, if you're listening on your telephone, make sure you enter in the audio pin. Then we can unmute your lines and maybe hear from you. Okay, Mark Pounders, your line is open again.
Yeah, So you were correct. I hate to get back on again, but this may help some people. I got onto Identitrust, and you were correct. It is listed under ETA, SDDC, and not GOPAX. So that may be where part of the confusion is coming in. But I'm on there right now. Just I don't know if you know or not, but it does list two choices there. One says ECA Medium Assurance and ECA Medium Token Assurance. Do you know what the difference is between those two?
Not offhand, no.
Okay. All right. Well, at least we're part of the way in with the to look for ETA and SDDC instead of GOPAX. I think that'll help a great deal, and maybe I can talk to them specifically and see if they can guide me on that. Thank you.
Donna, if we could ask for a quick clarification. Every single carrier who's currently on the approved list needs to reapply for agreement number 5, correct?
Correct.
So whether you've been working with DoD for 20 or 30 or 40 years, you still need to apply.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, so we did get a bit of clarification from one of the listeners that it's within each individual carrier's FMCSA portal they can see graduation date, which is unique to each carrier. So that's why it's not something that's publicly generally available.
Brandon, was that a question for me?
No. It was more of a comment for all those listening. The answer to where the graduation date is just within each carrier's individual FMCSA portal. And that if you log into your portal, that is where you will see the graduation date. But it's not on the general publicly available FMCSA information. Look under your account information inside the portal. Are there any other questions?
I just want to confirm a couple of things, questions that were asked of me. One was, is the inventory list due at any time? In the agreement, it says the list must be updated by October 1st of each year. And then for the CMR tool, I think someone asked if it could be a drop-down window for city and state. I'm being told that there is a drop-down window.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you to our presenters. Thank you, Donna, Doc, and Tony. Again, this session has been recorded, and everyone will receive it directly via email following this 24 hours after this presentation. We will also be posting the slides as well as the webinar to the ABA website in our webinars archive. Again, thank you so much for participating. Please keep the questions coming if you have any, and we'll be happy to forward them on to DTMO. Again, thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you at our next discussion on this program. Thank you.
Thank you.